Introduction to the pineal gland / third eye. Okay? So the point of this video is so that by the end of it, you will better understand how the pineal gland serves as a spiritual center, and we will go beyond just the scientific viewpoint of it. Many scientists just believe that it produces melatonin, and it's very limited as to what it does, and it's very small, not just the size wise but impact wise. Okay, but then you have spiritualists and people who are deeper into diving into these things, and they've even referred to it as the seat of the soul. Okay, so let's tap in. The pineal gland is an endocrine gland that is very small and is located near the center of the brain. Think if there's a left hemisphere and a right hemisphere of the brain, right in that center line, it lies along that spot. Okay, but anyways, on top of having a name being akin to a pine cone, it also looks like one. Think pineal gland, P-I-N-E, and then pine cone, P-I-N-E. It gets deeper because you have the Pope, who is a very spiritual person. They're going to trick you and tell you that it's religion or spirituality. No, it's religion and spirituality. It's faith and spirituality. This is what I embrace, okay? And the Pope, oh, of course he knows this. He's a very spiritual person, right? So he walks around with this staff. On the top of the staff is this little thing that's the same color as the staff, so it kind of blends in. But my friend, it is a pine cone. And it's not just because we like trees and pine cone, and that symbolizes life, and we like life. No, that's not what it is, my friend. They're talking about the third eye, okay? They're talking about the pineal gland. They know the powers of it. They know that it is the gateway to ascension of super consciousness, okay? They just don't want us. They don't want you to know that. But I'm here to blow the lid off of it, as well as thousands of others like me, because we don't gatekeep around here, okay? We share the load, okay? Let's go. So anyways, I don't study it merely as something that physically assists us, but many call it our spiritual center, okay? It serves as a bridge between the physical and the spiritual. I think that it has something to do with our ability to go deep into our dream world each night. Okay, it gives us perception, comprehension, and it is virtually limitless, all while we are asleep, right? Some intellectuals think that our waking hours are restricted to this man-made matrix, and that when we are in deep REM sleep, that is true reality. So it's flipped, you see? We are the soul, not the body. This is just a meat suit. I'm borrowing this. I have to return it one day. But I will go on. I, the third eye, the seat of the soul. My soul will go on. Okay? These are borrowed meat suits that we must return when this way of life is all said and done for us. Okay? The pineal gland. Production of melatonin. Melatonin could turn into serotonin. Either that or serotonin turns into melatonin. It's one of the two. Okay? Also, the pineal gland is said to help with sexual development, mood, immune response, and cardiovascular health as well. Okay? I didn't even know that until today when I was researching this. It serves as a link between the nervous system and the endocrine system. That's why I tapped into the sacred secretion back in 2023. And it was my first one that I had ever done, and it was the strongest. It got weaker each month when I did it again. But the first time was the strongest because it was all these built up oils that were just waiting, and then your cup runneth over, as it says in the Bible. And so those two oils go down the Ida and the Pingala. They go to the base of your spine. After that, for a while goes by, then it raises back up, and then it hits you, and boom, super consciousness when it returns home to the optic thalamus or by the pineal gland as well. Okay? But that's called the sacred secretion. And it used to be a secret ION, a secret ion. But anyways, the nervous system and the endocrine system, like I mentioned. That's why I tapped into the sacred secretion while I was in my physical prime, around like 32, 33 years old. I was 32. From having had trained mixed martial arts for 2+ years in a row. I was at my peak from training hard. I went to a normal gym 5 times a week, and I went to the MMA gym 4 times a week. Monday and Friday was no-gi jiu-jitsu, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, and Tuesday and Thursday were kickboxing, and then sometimes I would stay for wrestling. Most of the time I wouldn't, though, because I'd be quite tired. I put my all into every training session like that. So, within an hour I'm exhausted because it's at the same rate as a full hour, a full work shift, but you're doing all that energy in 1 hour because you're really pushing yourself when you train mixed martial arts. That primed my nervous system, and it turns out that when you have a nervous system at that level, you are able to tap into the sacred secretion. Maybe that's why I can't do it anymore. I haven't been able to do it in 3 years, man. But I also haven't been training as much, I've had the last 13 or 14 months off from training because me and my family, none of us, we don't have a car right now. So I'm saving up for a car. I'm almost there. Then I can get back to the MMA gym and start training again, and I miss it. Then I can tap into the sacred secretion again. Then I can activate super consciousness again. These topics interest me greatly because I'm past the whole physical side of life. I've enjoyed that the first 20, 25 years. Then after when I hit 25 years old, so now for the past 10 years, I've really been getting down the spiritual side, our soul, our spirit, life beyond the veil. It's very intriguing to me. Okay? So anyways, exercise assists in truly priming one's nervous system, as I mentioned. My brain had been producing a rather overabundant amount of both melatonin and oxytocin. Okay, that's how that works. And like melatonin slash serotonin, and this is known as the land that flows with milk and honey, which is mentioned in the Bible. And it's funny because there's so many things in the Bible that seem to be allegories for an internal process of spiritual awakening within our physical body, which is known as the temple of God. Okay, and then like Freemasons talk about King Solomon's temple, Sol-O-Mon, Sol, sun, S-O-L, sun. And then Mon is moon, Sol O, and O in Spanish means or, I think, or something like that. So Sol O Mon means sun or moon. It means masculine or feminine. So either way, if you're born a man or you're born a woman, you still have the opposite energy in you. You have both because you were made from a male and a female. So therefore you have properties of both. I'm a man, obviously. I was born a male. I'll always be a male. I embrace that. But I do have a feminine side that I embrace as well. I don't shy from it. I don't try to be this. That's where actual toxic masculinity comes from. It's not that they have too much actual masculinity. It's that they don't have enough femininity balanced to make them be able to listen and go, oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, get over here. I love you, man. They can't do stuff like that because to them, like, that's sissy stuff. You have to be able to embrace both. And yes, when I say it that way, I mean for women too. Women have to know when to put their foot down and be a little masculine. Does it turn men on? No, we don't. Most of us don't like that. But in order to survive in this world, sometimes you have to put your foot down so that people don't walk all over you. That's that masculine side of things. That's a totally different video, and I should make a video on masculinity and femininity being embraced dualistically. Okay? But anyways, like speaking of dualistic framework, masculine and feminine, electric and magnetic, the Ida and the Pingala nerves, the sun and the moon, pineal gland and pituitary gland, milk and honey. It goes on, okay? Your brain actually produces various chemicals every month, okay? Melatonin to serotonin, like I said, or vice versa. Oxytocin serves as like a love hormone or love chemical that's brewed in the brain. And then also you can have a release of DMT, or I've heard the word endogenous, like endogenous DMT. I don't know if that's what they mean or if that's the other DMT, like the type that people smoke and stuff. Okay, super consciousness. Things like that activated through what? The sacred secretion, my friends. To activate your true super consciousness, one must first completely decalcify his or her pineal gland. Yes, it seems to me that the powers that be intentionally shut down our pineal gland. That was the plan because they didn't want man to understand that we were spiritual beings with power in our hands. It could go on. I could actually write about that, dude. Do you see what's going on? Anyways, fluoride leads to calcium deposits collecting and hardening on the outside of our third eye / pineal gland. This blocks its primary functions. Not only that, but it blocks the spirituality aspect of it as well. This is what they're counting on. They don't want you to be highly intuitive and have true discernment all the time, because then they couldn't get away with all the sick things that they're doing. But as we see, all that was in the darkness shall be brought to light. Okay, you get it? But anyways, this blocks its primary functions, thus also stunting our discernment, intuition, and downloads from the Most High, also known as source consciousness. If you don't believe in God the way I do, then maybe you call it source. This is why sometimes you'll hear me refer to God as source. I'm just trying to bring in people who aren't on the same page as me and get them to understand what I'm getting at. Well, that's all. I'm not being a heretic or anything, but I am somebody who is very faithful, to God, to Jesus Christ, but I'm also very spiritually in tuned, okay? And I hate the division that they always try to make you choose one or the other. What are you going to do to me? Because I'm somebody who embraces both. Oh, you're going to pick me last on the football team? That would be a shame. Or are you going to fight me? Because that would be a bigger shame, because I train MMA, 6'4", 250 plus, smash your head in effortlessly, okay? And it's not just the size, it's the skill set that one has. Okay, if you're very skilled at striking, dodging, slipping, blocking, evading, parrying, countering, all of this footwork, talk about it, bro, right? But anyways, we're going to get back into this. So you might ask why. Why did these elites supposedly, why did these elites intentionally block the pineal glands of the masses? Like, why would they even do that in the first place? Simple control. They like the fact that they're at the top, but they are worried that they might not always stay at the top. So now they have to rig the game against us so that they stay at the top and we stay either at the bottom or in the middle, as long as we're not there with them, right? So simple control. That's what they want. A spiritually adept individual cannot be controlled, belittled, or kept in a box. I said it in an old song of mine. I said, thinking outside the box ain't even in the picture. What you thinking about, Josh? That's the ill tongue twister. Shit so hot, move your feet to the beat and get a blister. And right, so it was saying thinking outside the box, and I said the box ain't even in the picture. Because you can't contain me. I'm not this person I'm not the typical Christian who can be put in the box and blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? Because obviously I embrace spirituality. A lot of people are going to have a problem with that because they have a religious spirit attached to them. They do not have the Spirit of Christ. They do not have the Holy Spirit, the Holy Ghost. Oh, no, my friends. They have a religious spirit, a judgmental spirit, where everything has been confined here, and they say, yes, I subscribe to this idea and all the ideas that come with it. And if you don't, then you must be a heretic, blah, blah, blah. I'm not with it, bro. They want us smart enough, the elites, they want us smart enough to know how to be efficient for their benefit so that we can work and get things done for them, but not too smart, seeing as how we would all become truly independent from them and our needs from them. They want good little worker bees, okay? Let's just be honest. Not free thinkers who could make their own businesses and wake up the masses simultaneously. That's a double threat to them. That is their biggest threat. We are their biggest threat, my friends. The game is rigged against us since birth, but it's rigged in their favor since their birth. And against ours, like I said, so we have to resist and rise above it as one common people. This is why they know that, and that's why they're trying so hard to divide us in the media, okay? Because that's our way out. That's our way through and over this stuff, okay? Sorry. We have so much to offer the world, but they don't want that. These sickos already have generational wealth. Now they are gatekeeping the keys to success, all whilst rubbing it in our faces. The Pope's staff has the pine cone on it. They know that the true pineal gland activation is what connects us humans to the divine. Even the ancient Egyptians knew this. Where do you think we got our information from? I just did a reaction video on this very topic, which talked about 5 different ways in order to decalcify your pineal gland. Number 1, water. Control the water you are drinking, showering with, bathing with. Anything that's touching your skin, because it will get absorbed through the skin, your largest organ, or drinking it, obviously, as well. So you can literally just get a shower head that pulls out fluoride and heavy metals, and it's probably a little pricey, but once you buy it, you have it forever. You're good to go, right? Same thing with this water machine. You pour your water through it, it filters it all out. And it takes out any and all heavy metals and fluoride, okay? Now your pineal gland within 2 to 8 weeks is going to be open, not only decalcified, but now you can start to do spiritual practices such as meditation to make it really concentrated towards the spiritual aspect instead of just melatonin production, my friend. Okay, that was number 1. Number 2, to decalcify the pineal gland, no sugar intake. Stop drinking soda. Start drinking seltzer instead. If you crave the bubbles, but you don't want the bad stuff, try that like I do. Number 3, supplement with melatonin. I personally do not do this, but you can do that, it says, and it would help. Okay? And I was thinking it might be because if your pineal gland isn't producing a whole lot of melatonin on its own regularly, one can aid in its production by supplementing melatonin with the melatonin pills. Okay. Number 4, eat raw cacao. I've never done this, or maybe I have accidentally because they put some of it in dark chocolate that's actually healthy for you. So, but try to get your hands on raw cacao. You don't have to eat it all the time, bro, but sometimes, right? Number 5, certain plants and supplementation as well, I heard. So supplementation stood out to me. Magnesium, iron, and zinc are vital just for your body in general, but also for these various glands and parts of the human brain, okay? We have talked about its scientific purpose, okay? Yet many philosophers call the pineal gland the seat of the soul, okay? Metaphorically speaking, okay? Psychic awareness, intuition, and discernment. Calcification kills the intuition. When decalcified and utilized through regular meditation over time and consistency, it opens the door to spiritual processes and incredible talents. Okay? And I guess that's all I have on this. Thanks so much for listening to this interesting topic about the pineal gland, also known as the third eye. Okay? And that's all I got in today's topic. Thank you for stopping by. Until next time, stay safe, be blessed, and live lavishly. I'm going to see all of you in the next video. Thanks so much. Until then, just know that I love you all. Peace.